It's got to be getting pretty close to the end of the school semester, and that means one thing. It means report cards, always a scary thing, and it's no different here right now. We're going to be taking a look at an NBA report card, meaning we're going to look at all 30 teams in the NBA, give them a grade, and we're going to talk about it. Let's jump into it. And by we, I mean Bleacher Report. It's always Bleacher Report at the end of the day. I love Bleacher Report articles. I think they're a fun thing to talk about, and it lends a good visual to kind of help talk about all this stuff. But hey, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. I've responded to every single comment to my YouTube channel up to this point. I intend to keep on doing so. Anyway, I never look, these grade things always end up getting more views and everything just because people love seeing where they are and they love to hate them more than anything else. So I'm not gonna highly critique anything that old Dan here says unless it's something completely absurd in my opinion. But I haven't gone and looked at anything past this, but I wanted to see how these grades are actually determined. And they're basically being determined by hey, injuries don't count, but remember, a C represents an average grade in terms of expectations, right? We've talked about this in other videos where I've graded things where I've graded people based on expectations, meaning going into the season, what did we think they were going to be? We thought the Sixers were going to be good this year and they're really bad. They get a low grade. The Brooklyn Nets playing a lot better than we thought they were going to. They're going to have a better grade. If the Nets have an A and the I don't know, let's say the Celtics have a B, it doesn't mean the Nets are better than the Celtics. Okay, dum-dums, we're all ready to go. Let's go jump into the video then. Hopefully we all understand this. The Atlanta Hawks get a B. Okay, interesting. So the Hawks started off this season pretty rough, and they've been kind of climbing back as of late. They've discovered that Dyson Daniels is a very, very good defensive player. Can't shoot the ball, but he's actually pretty good at going downhill. Jalen Johnson continues to improve. Trae Young looks different, to say the least. He's passing the ball a lot more. He's shooting pretty inefficiently from the field. He's just lately he's having some really dumb turnovers. I don't know. He doesn't look hurt, but he's playing hurt. So I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's not nearly in his attack mode as years past, so a little bit confused about that. But the Hawks are a scrappy team, to say the least. Clint Capella's been awesome for them, by the way, so that's been pretty cool. One of the things we have to give them credit for is Coach Snyder figuring them out a bit defensively. Atlanta is 9th in points allowed per possession. There you go. That's a good statistic for me to pull out in this. Yeah, especially when Trae Young and Ricochet are on the court so much. Young player and not very good defensive player. Trae Young's trying really hard defensively. He's just, look, size is always going to be a liability thing. This is what I tried to tell you guys this is what I tried to tell you guys with Reed Shepherd. At the end of the day, just physics makes sense, right? Physics just are a thing, and Trae Young is very small. It's hard for him to stop people. It just is at the end of the day. So giving the Hawks a B, yeah, they're above my expectations for sure, so I can sympathize with that. I can agree with that. Celtics A, yeah, I'd say so. Playing without Porzingis, Peyton Pritchard's become a 6-man of the year type candidate. Their players continue to get better. They just do whatever it takes to win basketball games every single night. Obviously, they're extremely talented, and no, they've been awesome. Obviously, they're not at the top of the East, but that's not necessarily their fault either. I believe they beat the Cavs when they played them this year. Did they not? I think so. But anyway, yeah, they kind of talk about the same thing here. Peyton Pritchard is continuing to ascend. Arc drop off from Brown and Holiday. Yeah, they're struggling from the field, but they're still winning games. Porzingis is coming back, and he can't really even move at this point. So, is what it is. But Celtics continue to win, probably still the favorites to win it all. So there you go. There's the Brooklyn Nets, B+. I would say that's fair. They're currently a play-in team. They just traded Dennis Schroeder. I'm recording this on Sunday, by the way, trying to get a little bit ahead. I've got so many busy work weeks going on right now. But presumably, Nets going to make a lot more trades going forward. They're overperforming right now. Looks like Coach has done a pretty good job of setting a culture here of them playing hard and utilizing the solid talent that they have all around the roster. Now, the Nets, GM group is going to make it a ton harder for them because they're going to trade Schroeder. They're probably going to trade Dorian Finney-Smith, maybe Shake Milton or something. Maybe Cam Johnson. Probably not Cam Johnson. I would have to assume probably keep Nick Claxton and stuff, but this team's been overperforming. They play really hard every single night, play good defense. They got enough scores, so they've been winning basketball games. Good for Brooklyn. Good for Brooklyn. The Hornets, a C. Yeah, and again, we're not holding injuries against them. Their whole team feels like it's injured. Mark Williams, Nick Richards, right? Obviously, LaMelo a ton. Brandon Miller's taking every single shot he can attempt. Grant Williams went down. Not much you can do about that. Was this team that great with everyone healthy? No, they were fighting a lot more, though, that's for sure. They've been struggling a lot more recently, and Brandon Miller's trying to do everything for them, like I said, offensively, so that's a whole thing. But I wasn't sure they'd even be a play-in team this year. It doesn't look like they're going to be, most likely, but I don't know. Plus, for all the recent ringing over LaMelo Ball's true value, Charlotte has pieced together an above-average offense with him on the floor. Yeah, I mean, LaMelo was having a crazy offensive season and everything. Like, we have to see him play winning basketball at some point, but he also has to have a comprehensive team around him at some point. That's the whole thing. And Miles Bridges hasn't been very good either. That's something that they can't even really seem to trade him at this point. So that's a whole thing. Resurgences or emergences from Kobe Martin, Diabate. I never know how to say it. You guys can help me. I always ask for that in the comments. And then Trey Mann, when healthy again, right? Yeah, Trey Mann's another one that was an interesting find for them. I'm glad they realize how good that he is. But yeah, Hornets, a C. I can get behind that. The Bulls, a C. Oh, my Chicago Bulls. Let's see. In terms of expectations, yeah, I'd say they're right where they are. Vucevic and LaVine, been awesome. No complaints about them, like, whatsoever. They've been very, very good basketball players. Lonzo Ball, back on the basketball court. Giddey, I like Josh Giddey. Like, I've really enjoyed watching Josh Giddey play basketball. Moves the ball around. He's a super, like, plus-minus rotation builder. Like having Josh Giddey on the team. Kobe White looks just as good as he did last year, so that's cool. Jalen Smith, like having him on the team. He's a good floor spacer and everything. It's just like this team together doesn't win basketball games. It's not going anywhere, right? Long term. So you move on from all these pieces, and all of a sudden I'll be a happy Bulls fan again. But the Bulls struggling to do that. Trying to move Vucevic right now, trying to move LaVine. That's what they always say. Then they never end up doing it. And I know it's hard, but at the end of the day, like, right in line with expectations, and at least they get up and down the court, so that's cool. Shout out the Bulls in that case. But hey, got good players on the team. Cleveland Cavaliers, yeah, A+. We talked about going into the season, we have to find a way for Garland, Mitchell, Mobley, and Allen to play together. They've done so. Karis LeVert's become a nice offensive player for them. Very, very cool, right? Do they probably need like another center on the team? Probably. Ty Jerome was an interesting find for them. Now his minutes are starting to drop a little bit more again. He was in like Sixth Man of the Year or Most Improved Player conversations for a while, kind of falling off a bit of that now, but they've got a hell of a good team. Like, those four have figured out how to play with each other. Kenny has unlocked Evan Mobley. Awesome, right? I'm finally starting to see some Evan Mobley stuff. I think he was hurt the other day, though, or something. But regardless, like, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, they're doing their things. They look great. Cleveland just continues to win basketball games. No idea how far this team can go. It's talented enough to be a championship contender at the end of the day. So I guess we'll see. They have everything that you would possibly need. Dallas Mavericks, B+. That's fair. Luka having a great season. Kyrie having an all-time efficient season. They've now thrown Derek Lively into the starting lineup. Things are going better. Clay putting up respectable numbers at the end of the day. Looks a little bit lost in their kind of like non-existent offensive system in Dallas, but you know, still contributing at an okay level. Again, not a perfect fit. Spencer Dinwiddie, whenever he plays for Mark Cuban, plays really well. Good for him. Najee Marshall playing well. Quentin Grimes, we're starting to see a little bit of why New York Knicks fans were so excited to have him when he was like a rookie coming in and everything. So that's really awesome to see. Obviously, Gafford coming off the bench. Awesome. PJ Washington, I'd still like to see them develop him in a little bit different way. That's just a little bit of a nitpicky thing. I'd like to see him handle the rock a little bit more, set up Kyrie and like Luka and otherwise. I think he's got that skill set, and I think that'll help them come playoff time. But, you know, I can't complain too much. A B+, honestly feels fair. Like, we expected them to be towards the top, and they've been running that way right now, so good for Dallas. Denver, a D. Is that fair? That means they're below expectations. Yeah, like, I figured it'd be harder for Denver this year. Like, Jokic is the best player in basketball, no question about that. Jamal Murray's struggling a little bit more this season, that's for sure. They haven't really been able to replace KCP. Brown's having a solid season, like shooting the ball defensively. I have more questions, like what Michael Porter Jr.'s done for them this year. Aaron Gordon shooting the ball really well. You go to the bench and it's not there. Like, Westbrook's cool in certain games. I think Strother deserves more minutes. I saw some sort of deep dive, like with analytics and everything, was saying that like Strother's one of the most underutilized players in the NBA, and I kind of said it going into the season. I'm like, out of all their like young dudes on this team, I like him the most. I feel like we could do something with him, so I'd like to see them kind of get him on the court a little bit more. Peyton Watson, he's athletic. That's cool. This team needs to make a move somehow this offseason or this season. I don't know what they're going to do. They're in a really tough situation, but at the end of the day, these two guys have won a championship before. That's what you have to remember. They've done it before. They can do it again. So that's something to watch with the Denver Nuggets. The Detroit Pistons, a B. A B feels appropriate. We have unlocked Cade Cunningham, right? We see how good Cade Cunningham is now, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Cade Cunningham, very, very good at basketball. Okay, we've all caught up. Jaden Ivey, pretty good at basketball as well. Very cool. I'd like to see Asar Thompson get on the court a little bit. Ron Holland Jr. was a bad draft pick. Does not help the team whatsoever having him on the court. I know he had like a 26-point game recently. Gonna happen, right? Super talented. Just doesn't know what he's doing on the court. Doesn't help the team right now. Duren, we like Duren. Duren does pretty solid things. I know defensively Pistons fans still want more. Let him start playing some winning basketball. Maybe things go a little bit different. Tobias Harris been kind of bleh this year. They don't play Malik Beasley nearly enough, but he's been awesome. But at the end of the day, you put shooters on the team. JB Bickerstaff still doesn't know how to manage rotations for whatever reason, but this team's playing better, and that's what matters. Is this team just needed to be competitive in some capacity. So I'll be curious to see what they do at the deadline. They just cut Paul Reed, so it means they're going to be doing some sort of move because they're both like at the floor of the salary and stuff, and they need to just bring another player onto the roster. So we'll see. But I like B for them. They're overperforming at the end of the day. Golden State Warriors, B. Yeah, no, I had low expectations of them. I actually didn't even have them as like even a play-in team. I figured that roster was not going to be good enough, but Curry playing well. Andrew Wiggins playing better than he did even in his all-star season. Draymond Green hitting threes, playing solid defense. Cool. Just don't have a center, and they have got no wings off the bench. They obviously just added Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder is going to help them a lot. He's going to come in. He's going to start. He's going to be their new primary ball handler. He's going to take a lot of pressure off of Curry, especially late in game because you have to guard them both. They're both very lethal in crunch time, right? Dennis Schroeder is going to help them defensively. He's just he's a good player. They only gave up 2 second-round picks really to get him. Awesome, right? Awesome pickup. This helps Pods come off the bench. Buddy Hield's going to be a nice guy to have off the bench. Like, it's just moving Kuminga and Moody and like guys like that. Maybe a Gary Payton or something. I know Gary Payton's fun, but I don't think you need him in the grander scheme of things. So I like to see you package some of these guys and go get you a center, go get you another wing or something like that. Maybe both if you can swing it. Mike Dunleavy Jr., make it happen. But this team, playoff team right now, so that's good. They're a B, and at the end of the day, if this team's in the playoffs, anything can happen. Anything can happen at any time. The Rockets, oh yeah, no, this is an A. You might say B plus or something like that, or a B, if you want to be a real asshole about it, because we have some development questions. Jalen Green, not actually getting any better. Jabari Smith Jr., not really actually getting any better. Amen Thompson looks very good. Tari Eason looks very, very good. I'd like to see them just get the start from now on. And while Fred VanVleet's having a pretty shitty shooting season, still great floor general. I like what he does defensively and everything. Dylan Brooks having a very efficient season for them. Şengün, awesome player. Hasn't really ascended at the same level, but other players on the team have, and that's cool. Reed Shepherd, definitely should not have drafted him. Should have traded it and gotten somebody else that can actually help them right now. But nevertheless, this team's overperforming. They're playing really, really well. It's just, can we better utilize the talent that's on the roster, right? And can we move on from certain players that are on the team and go get you something that can help you win right now, right? I don't know what that is. Is adding Jimmy Butler to this team going to help a ton? Is it worth trading Dylan Brooks? I don't necessarily know. I think it would make the team better, but how much better? And is it worth it, right? So I don't know. Is adding Brandon Ingram better? I'd have maybe some questions about fit with that as well. So I don't know. I don't know at the end of the day, but they've got a good thing going. They got some fun young players, and I hope it keeps going well for them. The Pacers, yeah, D-. I would say that's fair. After going to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, Halliburton's had some ups and downs, continues to be a little more sporadic up and down, which I guess is better than just down from where he is. Spicy P still doing his thing. Miles Turner, yeah, there's been some injuries on the team, right? They lost Isaiah Jackson and James Wiseman early. Obi Toppin hasn't quite figured it out yet. The wings situation, like Benedict Mathurin, like puts up points, but it's not really pretty basketball yet. And he's young, but it's just not really working. Neesmith, I'm not a huge fan of personally, so I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see a standout play from Siakam. Surprising contributors from Quentin Jackson. Yeah, we should probably talk about him even more. And a more even-keeled Mathurin spares the Pacers from the fate. Yeah, barely is, right? Inconsistency from Halliburton. That's a big one. Too much sweat equity is being devoted for him adjusting to everyone else rather than just playing around him. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if I've watched enough to agree or disagree with that, but that's interesting. But yeah, the Pacers can't quite figure it out. TJ McConnell every once in a while has a great game, and that's a lot of fun. But yeah, no, not nearly the same team that they were last year. Just not really playing the same way. I will say, the play style that they had last year wasn't complicated ever. It was just, it fit them really well. So I feel like teams are just like not crashing like offensive glass very much now. They're just kind of getting back and sitting in their defense, and then the Pacers can't do anything. So yeah, is what it is. The Clippers, I don't know if I want to call them an A. Like, I think we all knew that this team would be solid at the end of the day, and that's what they are right now. Like, they started off the season really good, and they were up there. Like, they've lost like 4 or 5 in a row or something like that now, at least at the time of recording this. So a little bit of a fall off there. James Harden's been solid enough. Norm Powell's been awesome, right? All the role players look good. Zoo looks really, really good. They don't have Kawhi Leonard, so that's obviously hard. I figured this team would be solid, though, and I feel like this team should still blow things up regardless. Like, you've got value in some of these guys right now, in the Derrick Jones Jr., the Norman Powell, the Trey Mann, Batum, right? All these guys. Like, I try to move them and try to build towards your future. I don't think this team's contending for a championship, even if you add Kawhi Leonard to it. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. But I'm not going to fault the Clippers if they just say, no, we're trying to win every game ever, because maybe that's what Steve Ballmer is just all about at this point, right? It's just winning basketball games, and maybe he wants to join that elite company of teams that are always trying to win. Cool. That's awesome, right? I'm always going to be in support of that. But me as the strategic GM, I'm moving on from these guys. I'm saying this group's not going to do it anyway. It's kind of a ragtag group of people, and we're going to go figure it out some other way. So that's what I would say. Lakers. Yeah, maybe a slight underperformance. Yeah, just because the defense looks so gross at this point. Like, I know you all have all seen the clips online, and, we never want to overreact to clips, but just like, I'm watching these games, and they just don't look like they give a shit out there. And it's really weird to watch. Like, JJ Redick looks like he's going to blow his lid every single second out there. And like, LeBron's saying it too, like, what the fuck are we doing out there, right? D'Angelo Russell can't even get on the court for whatever reason. I'm guessing just internally there's issues with him or something like that. Like, AD, efficiency's falling off, still putting up great numbers. LeBron, he's still LeBron James. That's awesome, right? But like, Reeves, maybe not quite as efficient as we want him to be. They just benched Dalton Connect. I don't know why they did that. It's weird. Hachimura is not really involved at all, and I feel like he should be. It's strange. Like, their offense looks a lot better than it did last year. There's actually rhyme and reason and logic to it at all times, which is good, but they might just not have the roster that can truly compete, and that's unfortunate. Are we going to see LeBron get leave this team at some point? I don't know. I'm very curious at the end of the day. Memphis Grizzlies, yeah, no, they're playing their asses off right now. The Memphis Grizzlies have 13 or 14 like good NBA players on their team. It's awesome. They have so much depth. Trade some of them, go get some even better starters now. Just do it. You don't need them all. You can't even try to develop them all. You keep finding good talent and adding it to your team. Awesome. You guys are really good at that. That's awesome. Who's ever running the team right now and doing all those final decision-making stuff, keep it up. You're doing one of the best jobs in the NBA, if not the best right now. Ja, better playmaker. That's awesome. Desmond Bane, continue to be a nice second option. Jaren Jackson Jr., he's way better when he can just play the power forward, right? And space the floor, things like that. Play good defense, not foul so much. Awesome, right? That's awesome. And they're actually like healthy this year, which has been good. Santi Aldama, yeah, great development story. Jake LaRavia is solid in spot minutes. I'd move him, though, because you just don't need to have him. Scottie Pippen's been awesome. Jalen Wells, that's right, the second-round pick that's been so good. Obviously, Zach Edey's hurt right now, but they're getting back the Gigi Jacksons and Vince Williams sooner rather than later, and so I'm really excited to see where this team goes. Contenders don't hide in plain sight. This one might be. Yeah, they very well could be, man. It's a good team. The Miami Heat, yeah, I'd say they're right at expectations, actually. I would probably agree with that. Jimmy Butler, great season. Might be traded soon, it sounds like. So be on the lookout for that. Bam. Playing some questionable, like, offensive basketball. Defensively still looks really good. Tyler Hero might be an all-star this year. Terry Rozier, not as good as we thought. I don't know. Defensively, the Heat don't look like very bad at points. It's just sometimes the offense doesn't quite figure itself out. They don't have enough people going and getting, like, easy buckets for them. Like, even Tyler Hero, like... while he's been so good shooting and everything, like, I wouldn't say it's anything like revolutionary, and I'd worry in the playoffs what someone would do to him. So I don't know what the Heat do. They're the 5th seed right now, and you'd hate to blow up a 5 seed, and the Heat don't tend to want to do that, but it seems like they're not getting anywhere with Jimmy Butler. So, like, in terms of like contract extension and everything, obviously Jimmy Butler has done so much for this organization. So I don't know. Bam Adebayo's offense all over the place. Yeah, I would agree with that. Butler's on the chopping block. Yeah, Hero looks good. That's awesome. So, cool. Fair enough. Move on. Milwaukee Bucks, C-. A little below expectations. It's so hard because I feel like all of us had some skepticism because of Doc Rivers and Chris Middleton being out. And I would say, like, yeah, the season started so rough that, yeah, C- is probably fair. They're figuring it out now. But like even still, like their offense is so stupid, and by that I mean they don't have an offense. They just run up and down the court and nothing really happens. Like it's just they have so many good basketball players, they make it work. And shout out AJ Green and Torian Prince for hitting every fucking 3-pointer that they take. Like that's a big part of their success right now. But Lillard looks awesome. Giannis looks awesome. Brook Lopez has been a secret weapon for them this year. I feel like that not enough people are giving him credit for. I hope Chris Middleton gets back to where he was. If not, maybe I could see a Rockets like Bucks swap, like move Chris Middleton or something like that to the Rockets. Maybe they send someone else back. I don't know. Just find some more role player help for the Milwaukee Bucks. Get some more defense out there, and everything should figure itself out. Timberwolves D+. Yeah, that's probably fair. It's just so annoying to watch this team play. Like defensively, they're starting to figure it out, right? And that's awesome. Like Randall playing a little bit better defensively. Gobert doesn't seem to ever come out of the game at this point, which is a little bit questionable. I don't think Naz Reid gets used nearly enough, but again, no offensive game can be found for this team. Again, they didn't have much of an offensive strategy last year. Then they moved Cat, and now we saw just how hard it can be to play with Julius Randle, and then you have no floor spacers on top of it. That's complicated. I know people are hating on DiVincenzo, but like, you guys have to understand something. There's no place for him to operate in right now, and he's not that good of a player. He is a very good player, but he's not that good of a player to where he's breaking everybody down and like creating his own shot and everything. That's just not what he is. So install an offense, like find some players that can actually move the basketball, take some pressure off him, and then you'd probably see it increase. But Ant doing everything he can out there, man. He's doing everything he can. DiVincenzo is at least being guarded like a 5-alarm fire. A 5-alarm fire. I don't know what that means, even though he's not yet. Yeah, so he's not shooting the ball well, but he still has gravity. That's awesome. I don't think they play the rookies nearly enough. Finch has preached patience and process at every turn, so fair enough. He continues to experiment. The Wolves are uncertain and flimsy. Yeah, Rob Dillingham, like, they don't even use him right now. It's really frustrating. Terrence Shannon Jr. should be on the basketball court. It doesn't make any sense to me. The Pelicans. Yeah, D probably regardless, just because it's so annoying. All the players are injured. We don't want to hold it against them too much, but even so, like, they can't figure out anything internally. Like, they can't pick a direction. I know it's hard, but like, I don't know. I don't know what you do with this team. It's really complicated. They're what are they, like, dead last in the West right now? I think so. So what do you do? Do you let them get their high draft pick and then figure it out in the offseason? Like, Brandon Ingram might just leave or something like that, unless you want to give him a 1-year, like, big contract. Zion, I think he's trying everything he can to get off this team at this point. They just brought DeJounte Murray, and CJ's been playing good as of late. You still have Trey and Herb. Like, that gives me some confidence to move off of Ingram. Yves Missy, yeah, he's been exactly what we thought. A solid player. They could still use another center. I'm not big on Brandon Boston Jr. personally. That's just me. But yeah, no, they've got some interesting players. I love Javonte Green. But yeah, they're just never healed, and they're never not injured. So I don't know what you do. If you traded Zion, you'd probably get a bunch of shit. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with this team. It's weird. The Knicks with a B is probably fair. The Knicks have been good, but defensively they like can't seem to figure things out, and there's been some awkward offensive moments at times. OG and Bridges don't seem to be involved nearly enough. Like Brunson and Cat, awesome. They're having awesome offensive seasons, but if this team's not just like torching people, it can get a little bit hard to watch. A Bridges' disastrous start has progressed closer to a pleasant mean. He's shooting under 25% on above the break threes for the season, but he's up to 35% over his past 7 games. That's not exactly encouraging, so he's up to league average as of late. Okay, things aren't rosy at the other end of the floor. The Knicks are bottom 5 in points allowed per possessions against top 20 offensive. Struggles that go beyond heavy minutes for Brunson and Towns. Past Bridges' own demonstrative regression and into existential dilemma territory. Yeah, well said, I guess. Like, players just aren't playing quite as well as they used to, is the short answer. They're still really talented. Their bench is questionable. Like, they play Campaign a lot, they play McBride a lot, and they play Sims a lot. And not the best bench. Not the best bench in that sense. But, hey, Mitch Robb comes back at some point. Maybe he helps them out. Maybe he gets hurt again. I don't know. Thunder, A-. Why an A- and not an A+? propping up to the league's best defense, remaining on a 60-plus win pace when Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein haven't been available for the same time. Okay, I'm waiting. This doesn't even paint an adequate picture for the frontline situation, blah, 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 blah. 6'6" Jalen Williams ranks second in percentage of opponents' shots at the rim, blah, 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 blah. To what extent can you even nitpick the Thunder? It's debatable. Its biggest wart remains treading water on offense independent of Shea. Okay, so they're basically saying, like, if Shea wasn't on the court, would this team just crumble? Probably, to some extent. He does carry the offensive load a ton, but I mean, at the end of the day, they're still performing. He's still on the court, so I'd probably give it an A+. They've been awesome this season, but that's just me. I love J-Dub. I think he's progressing towards being an all-star player. I think he can be one. Hartenstein's been awesome for them when he's healthy. Chet's been awesome for them when he's healthy. Wiggins, nice player. I'd like to see Isaiah Joe start more. The Dortcher Chamber still looking good. You've got some tradable pieces. Maybe you can go get something else. Caruso's starting to figure things out a little bit. Good for the Thunder. Good for the Thunder. Orlando Magic, yeah. Wow, what a season. Paulo starts out super hot, goes down. Franz is like, don't worry, guys, I got you. Puts the team on his back, goes down. I don't know what they do from there. Like, you probably got to keep guys like Cole Anthony on the team now. You can't necessarily trade him because you need some scoring. But the team is third in the East, and they're playing well. They play super hard. They're a gritty defensive team. Very, very cool, right? Eventually, they're going to need someone to score some points, and without Paulo and Franz, that's a difficult task. You hear about the team being like, yep, we're holding extra practices and everything just to try to be like, hey, this is what we need to do to actually like get some success on the court without our two best players, because that's a reasonable conversation to have, right? So Banchero's still a couple weeks from coming back, but even then he's going to have to get himself back into game shape and everything, going to take a bit, and then Franz, he's going to be out for a while, and then he'll have to go through the same thing, so I don't know, man. Magic got to hold on. They got to hold on. I don't know if it's worth making a trade right now, though, and shaking things up too much. So Magic with an A, though, for the season. Very appropriate, very appropriate. I'd still like to see them get Jet Howard on the floor a little bit more. Just me. How are the Sixers not an F? Okay, it's because we're not holding injuries against them, right? It's tempting to go with incomplete for the Sixers. Yeah, Joel Embiid, he's hurt again. He just had like a facial fracture. Big Three's hardly been on the court. Jared McCain just went down. The team's unhealthy. The players that are playing are not playing well. Sixers are bad. Let's move on. I don't need to keep beating you guys over the head with it. Suns, D+. Okay, now this one I'm curious about, actually. So why are they a D+? Because I don't agree with that. Go ahead and imagine what this grade might be like if Kevin Durant doesn't miss any games. Boy, you said at the top that injuries didn't play a fact in it. What the hell, Dan, or whatever your name is? Keep it together. The Suns are 11-2 when he plays and 1-9 without him. And that's the entire point. So what, you're grading them because one of their superstars, when they go down, they're not as good? That's every fucking NBA team. Like, come on, Dan. Is that who wrote this article? Dan? I don't know. Like, let's have a little bit of consistency with it, right? But yeah, Big Three plays. They play well. Surprise, surprise, your three best players are on the court. You play good basketball. Yeah, that happens. The Suns are good when the Big Three plays. Otherwise, they're not. Tyus has been awesome. I love Nurkic. I like Grayson Allen a lot. I like Ryan Dunn. Iguodaro and Plumlee play well when they need to. Cool. That's the Phoenix Suns. The Portland Trail Blazers, they piss me off so much. I want to give them a lower grade. Bright spots aren't hard to find on the Trailblazers roster. Getting Tamani Kamara in that Nurkic trade was awesome. Yes, it was. Robert Williams is healthy, and he's doing good things. Yeah, I'd agree. Donovan Clingan looks capable. Yeah, no, that's what I said going into the season. Donovan Clingan, instant starter in the NBA. I would agree. They need to find more playing time for him. Delano Banton is really good. Denny, they're finally letting him have the ball. Just, why is it so complicated? Why can't teams figure this shit out? Delano Banton and Denny, they need the ball to succeed, but you're also trying to develop a Scoot Henderson, a Shaden Sharp, and all these other guys that need the ball in their hands all the time. Move them. Move on. Let Clingan play. Go move other guys. Trade them. Just get something back so that you can play these younger guys, start to develop them. Hell, I bet you could get a haul for Banton, because I don't think you need Banton long term. Like, when I say haul, I'm not saying you're getting 2 first-round picks from him or something, but you could probably get something pretty solid for him. And I don't think he's going to have the chance to succeed on this team like a Scoot and maybe a Denny could, because I'd like to see them play together a little bit more. But go try and do some of those things like Portland. Just try to put a roster that makes some sense together. Please. You weren't able to do it the whole time with Dame. Just don't fail Scoot Henderson now. It's so annoying. The Kings, C-. In a slightly more inefficient De'Aaron Fox, really good in clutch time. Herter and Murray have forgotten how to shoot the basketball. That's scary. Since Malik Monk has entered the starting five, they've been a lot better. That's good. Keon Ellis should probably play more as well. They have no rim protection. That's scary. But overall, like, the team's numbers aren't that bad, and they can't win basketball games. So I'm not really sure what's going on with them. Kevin Herter and Keegan Murray and absences from DeRozan and Monk isn't nothing. Sacramento shot profile is predictably uncomfortable. Yeah, it's because they got guys like Sabonis working from the nail. Obviously, Fox and DeRozan are going to go get shots from anywhere. So yeah, the shot profile probably doesn't look good. Defensive containment in the half court is problematic. Yeah, there's not a lot of good like one-on-one defenders in this. Keegan Murray's been really good defensively, so I want to give him a lot of credit for that. He's looked really good defensively. They continue to limit looks at the rim and transition opportunities. So that's good. Losing more games in the clutch than any team outside of Charlotte contributes to choppy returns. And that's the thing. At the start of the season, you had two of the best finishers in the NBA in Fox and DeRozan. But yeah, not finishing games as of late. So I don't know. But again, it hurts when none of your three-point shooters can hit three-point shots, right? At the end of the day, you'd like to think if this team just made some shots, it'd be better. Maybe you make one trade and you go get yourself a center. That'd be nice, right? That'd be nice. I'd love to see Robert Williams on this team somehow. Spurs, a B. That feels fair. Like, they're more competitive than they were last year. That's good. Wemby looks good. He hasn't been taking quite as many threes as of late, so that's good. Hopefully we're chopping that down a little bit. Loads of people seem annoyed by Wembanyama's three-point heavy profile. That was me, one of those people. And it's worth a discussion, but he continues to get the time and space necessary to develop every facet of his offensive game. That's why I'm not tripping about it like too much, because at the end of the day, like, look, this team's not winning a championship anyway. Just let him kind of figure shit out that he wants to do. San Antonio, they're getting up reps for Stephon Castle. Yeah, no, Castle looks fun. He's fit the team. He's not losing them games. He's incredibly inefficient and sometimes makes dumb decisions, but he looks pretty good defensively. He's actually out of position sometimes, but that's just young people things. It's going to happen. But Castle looks like he could be a solid player for them. I don't know where he goes long-term necessarily, but it's cool. Return of Devin Vassell opens up immediate possibilities. Can we just start Devin Vassell, though? Can we please just put him back in the first five? We need to see more minutes of Wemby and Vassell together. I like Devin Vassell next to Wemby, so I want to see them on the floor a little bit more. Raptors aren't playing well, but yeah, you should probably be happy if you're a Raptors fan, because Scotty looks good. RJ looks good. Emmanuel quickly been a little bit injured. Grady Dick looks like he's getting better, and also Grady Dick might be the hardest worker in the NBA this season. That boy, that dusty boy, he just runs. He just runs the entire game, and he does not stop. So I love watching Grady Dick for that reason. He doesn't always know where he's going, but he doesn't stop running, and I appreciate that about him. Injuries are obviously defining them. Kelly Olynyk, yep. Bruce Brown, yep, he's another one that they should probably look to trade quickly. They've missed a lot of time, but they're scrappy, right? And if they get a lottery pick, like a top 4 or 5 pick this year, you could have a scary core. Mogbo, again, was a guy that I talked about going into the season, and I watched him at like the combine and everything, and I was like, what an interesting player. I'm like, I don't know what you do particularly well, but you just look like you're helping out there. It just looks like you're helping everywhere. He's like a more useful Kenneth Faried or something, and that's what he's been in the NBA so far. Like, there's not one area of the game where I'm like, that's what Mogbo's really good at. But whenever he's out there, I'm like, yeah, Mogbo's helping. That boy helping. So good for him. And Agbaji is alive. That's a good way to put him. So good for them. Good for the Raptors. The Jazz, I don't know. I'd give them a C. This is pretty much what I expected. Like, their rookies look bad. That's the best way to put it, right? They look bad right now. And it wasn't a very good draft class, and they're taking some risks on some higher upside dudes. We'll have to see how they look long term. Keontae George is such a bad defensive player, but offensively, he scores. He scores more than you'd think, and he gets a decent amount of assists. He turns the ball over a shit ton. He's a young guard. He's trying to figure it out. I'm not sure I see him as a point guard. I was a little confused when they started him as that, but he showed some promise last year. Let's see if he starts cleaning it up by the end of the season. Markkanen still looks good. John Collins looks really good. Like, I'd like to see John Collins on a different team because he's a contributing winner. Walker Kessler looks really good, so that's cool. Are they going to trade Jordan Clarkson? We'll see. Relegating rookie Cody Williams to the G League was the right call. Yeah, no, there was no reason to have him on the NBA roster right now. So, yeah, what do? Can you move Colin Sexton to, like, the Magic, please? I'd love to see it. But, yeah, they're the Jazz. They're going to do what they're going to do. And the Wizards, give the Wizards an F. Don't give, no, they deserve an F. They make me so mad. Winning games is not a priority for the Wizards, but Bob casting around isn't particularly necessary in the flattened lottery odds. Yeah, no, you don't have to be that bad. And this team, like, they're just not developing anybody either. They're not going to develop anybody, and it's just going to keep being bad, and the Wizards are the worst. The Wizards are so bad. If there's any Wizards fans watching these videos, can you, like, just use the comment section to, like, express your feelings? Because Jordan Poole, well, he's looked a little bit better when he's playing point guard this year. The team just looks a little bit better. Kyle Kuzma looks like a disaster out there. Alex Sarr, stop making him play power forward. He's good at center. Let him play there. We'll give Bub Carrington time. Koulibaly, I think, is the smartest player on the team, and he's just as confused trying to play with the veteran players on his team. He's like, what the fuck are you guys doing out here? Like, he's like, this is not good basketball. That's what I like. This looks like Koulibaly trying to tell Jordan Poole, like, bro, what the fuck are you doing out there? And Poole's like, you don't understand, though. I saw an open. He's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Just stop saying that shit. So, I don't know. The Wizards, they make me mad. There's flashes from Bub Carrington, feel and playmaking. Yeah, no. Like, Bub looks like he's trying to do the right thing out there, so that's fair. Keyshawn George, not a fan of watching him. Alex Sarr, great defensively. Premier on-court product. Add Koulibaly is going to be more well-rounded than even Washington expected. Yeah, they have no idea what to do with Koulibaly, and it makes me upset. But overall, the Wizards, they should get an F. They're that bad. It's so annoying, and I don't think they're going to develop people. So, is what it is. What a happy note to end this video on. But hey, you guys leave me a comment below. What do you guys think of these teams? What grades would you give? Do you guys want to see me give my own grades in a video or something? Because we could always do that. We could always go up to the tier maker or something and do something like that. But this week we've got a lot of other things to talk about. A lot of trade rumors and stuff like that. Player breakdowns and stuff. But anyway, appreciate you guys for watching as always. We'll talk to you later. Thanks so much. Bye.